Ron DeSantis has been barnstorming the country on a book tour in preparation for what is expected to be a presidential run. And while he does typically receive rave reviews from the Republican base, things seem to be changing. I have Scott Maxwell here. So, Scott, what's different?
Well, Rich, you are exactly right. For the past year or so, DeSantis has sort of been the presumed heir apparent for the Republican nomination in 2024 for the White House. But over the past 2 weeks, he's been taking a lot of criticism, and the most newsworthy part of that is that almost all of the new criticism is coming from fellow conservatives.
Why is that?
Well, there seem to be two things at play. First of all, Donald Trump himself is targeting DeSantis for being weak and disloyal, calling him all sorts of names like Ron DeSanctimonious. And that seems to have fired up the Trump base against DeSantis. But of equal concern for the DeSantis campaign team is that a number of establishment Republicans, the ones who've really been cheering for DeSantis in the past, like the Wall Street Journal's very conservative editorial board, have started suggesting that he might not be ready for prime time.
What issues is it that has them most concerned about this?
Well, the one that really seemed to have lit them on fire recently was Ukraine, when DeSantis told Fox News that he didn't really think the United States should be involved in helping Ukraine as much as they are, and basically began parroting some of the same things that Russian President Vladimir Putin had said. DeSantis described the Russian invasion and, by the way, slaughter of tens of thousands of people as, quote, not a war or invasion, but, quote, a territorial dispute. And that prompted the Journal's editorial board to pen a piece with the headline, Ron DeSantis' first big mistake. The Florida governor toys with Trumpian retreat on Ukraine. Marco Rubio said he didn't know what DeSantis was thinking. Mike Pence started talking about, quote, Putin apologists. And a former speechwriter for George W. Bush described DeSantis' campaign strategy as, quote, tough on drag queens, weak on national security.
So, Scott, what are the takeaways from this?
Well, one thing seems to be that the culture war issues that DeSantis has used very effectively in Florida, sort of fuming about things like Disney World and transgender teenagers, probably aren't enough for Americans in general who care about other things as well, like public education, the national economy, and foreign policy. Florida has become a pretty reliably red state, but the rest of America isn't like Florida.
Yeah, and pundits are saying DeSantis is done for. Are you buying this? Do you think this is the end of Ron DeSantis?
I do not. I think some liberal pundits are wish casting, and even the conservative who are saying he's flamed out. They tend to go from 0 to 100, these extremes. Ron DeSantis has been underestimated most every step of his Florida career, but I do think that his campaign team is realizing that he can't afford to do battle with both Donald Trump and traditional GOP establishment at the same time, because that just doesn't leave him much ground left.